Now, let me explain what I mean by that. What they're trying to say is that a being such as yourself had the power to take the waves in the water of the ocean and tell them to stop right there and don't you move no more right there. Though we would see that as being something that a God would do, we couldn't in no way deny that indeed that is the God's power. And they're trying to separate those beings who would have the power to do this away from being God. What do I mean by that? Well, they want to say there's one God, and the word Elohim means these or those beings, which is where you get the word God from. Now, amongst them, it's just like here today, Mike, we're in the street, you got some brothers that are cool, and you got some brothers that ain't cool. And we all have different mentalities. Like, you know, in your scripture it says, now the man has become like one of us. He knows good and evil. Now stop. Then they also have a quote that says, and God said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. Well, if there was only one, why did he say, let me make man? You see what I mean? But then where does our thing come from? And we got to know. Same way here today, we in the street. You got brothers, you run into, yo, what's up, dog? Like, yo, what's up, man? You're looking at the brother in his face, looks like it's hurting, he don't look broke down, like here, you know, and everything is negative. You run into certain, but yo, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, baby? How you been? Amongst the Elohim, you have the same type of mentality. And because you read these stories, and it says, and God split the Red Sea as Moses raised his staff. And then the Egyptians say, he went, closed the Red Sea, put a staff down, and he closed the Red Sea along with it. You know, wait a minute, I shouldn't the ultimate act in love be to preserve life by any means necessary? Why would this God select to kill all the people? Couldn't he have just snapped his finger and made their hearts just like other people? And what I'm saying, now, the thing is, on this tape, Mike informed me that a lot of the things that the guy is saying, he said right then, he said he's saying the same thing. Well, he is, but at the same time, he's separating us, who are the Elohim, away from the word God. Like, okay, God means supreme being. I can lay claim to being a supreme being, but I can't lay claim to being the supreme. Why? Because I can't create an ant, not yet. But if you leave me alone, the possibilities are endless. Which becomes the reason why they got to slow us up, speed us up, slow us down, speed us up, in some type of capacity. Never let niggas enjoy their natural state. Because they know in the day we do, something's going to open up inside of you. Next thing you know, you'll be making the wind blow. That's what they don't want black people to know. What do you think secrecy is all about? Inside, watch now, the Masonic community. You have to take the oath of secrecy to become one. You have to have a sponsor. Well, I'm going to tell you what the secrecy is about. It's the information that leads you to the power to be able to make the wind blow, but make the ocean stop their waves, create tidal waves and hurricanes and the whole shebang, just like any God can do. They say that on there?
They saying God came down. What's his name?
Come on, let's bring on there.
But they ain't know that part. They say he came down from the tank.
Came down from a chain?
Yeah.
Come on, let's hear what they say.
This is the way, not least, that they modified our ancestors to be a slave species for them and treated us with great disregard in a number of ways, not least, but in a number of these parishes, they are genocides committed by these visitors. And so when you've got these leaders who actually have no empathy towards the human race, who have engineered as much as we would engineer Dolly the Sea, and are terraforming planets, not just for our benefit, but for something that they are looking for, now you've got a very confusing picture if you think that's God, because suddenly you've got a God who can be very violent, genociding, cannot be questioned, and has no not some beautiful image of the cosmic source, the source of harmony and love and order, the source of all things. You end up with a being who is very much like an alcoholic father.
Now you see that? Mike, that's true. Yeah, everybody cares. Now wait, that's true. Now, but what I'm saying to you is that's only a current. Because amongst the Elohim, there's many Elohim that have a multitude of different personalities. Just like we can go on the street today and say our brother's name is Lil Joe, live on 5th Street, and Lil Joe's father, he's whipping on him and carrying on. You can go down on 7th Street and see Johnny, and his father is cool, teaching him and showing him love. Now watch. You judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. And where they're mixing everybody up is in the thinking that that's something wrong for us to view as a God. Because what type of God would act like a drunken father and be the son is what they're saying. And keep in mind, what they're talking about sounds true in many of Nubian homes all across fucking the world. So in a slight way, they're talking condescending down towards Nubian people, but in a very sort of kind of way. Because white folks, they suffer from that shit too. But when you start talking about a drunken father whipping on his kids, right away they're putting in the white folks' mind that's the mentality of a nigger. You understand? Now, and the word nigger doesn't mean ignorant. The word nigger came from the word Anunnaki. Anunnaki, nigger, same thing. The came to be pronounced Nikiru. Nigger, same thing. And they said, nigger means someone who's ignorant. No, nigger was the term of royalty. You see? It represented the Anunnaki. And that's why we don't allow them to use the term, listen, against us, but there ain't nothing wrong with a Nubian person walking up and saying, yo, that's my nigga right there. What's up, dog? Now, so, again, they're doing their best to keep a certain undertowing, type of material and information that is being, put out to the entire world, the entire nation that says, the Elohim are not black folks, are not people of color, are not anybody who acts like what they just described. When indeed they do this very shrewdly, because again, they want you to think that there's only one Elohim when there's thousands of them. And all of them, just like you meet our brothers and sisters here today in any urban area, any street, have different mentalities, different sentiments, and you judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. If it does a good thing, it's a good thing, a good tree. It's a good fruit. If it does a bad thing, it's a bad fruit. So you have amongst the Elohim, watch now, those beings who are what they call good, which in Hebrew they don't say good, they say tov, which means agreeable. And then in Hebrew they have ra, which means disagreeable, but they call it evil. Now notice what I said, tov. In English it's written T-O-V. slave I'm allowed to say, while you're over there, make yourself, or better yet, man, sit down. I'll make us both one. Because I remember what it's like to be a slave. And they ain't never been subjected to those types of things. So that's why I would say a merciful God did that to us. Because he's teaching us how to lead appropriately and how not to be like they were to us. You follow? Now, so let's hear some more of what these people talk about. Come on.
But as a used by religions, he said, through the centuries as a way of fear-mongering and manipulating the population. Now, that is the confusion I believe we have put on ourselves through bad translations.
And that's something through bad translations. You're right. Well, here it is once again, though. Even though Father has come and broke the seventh seal in 1970, that's my father, 1970, this information just started his day. Nobody has, see, they talk about seven seals in the books of Revelation, because all the information about us has been locked away. Okay, so now they then came, my father showed us how they were given improper translation, but here again, they're mistranslating, listen, even in their explanation. Again, the devil is hard at work. So come on, let's do it. Hold on, we got the tools and tune up. Here we go. Let's go again. No? All right.
People tell a story from the dawn of time. In it, the sons of son of War arrive on planet Earth. They are beings who arrive from outer space to a planet that is entirely covered by water. Their task is to terraform it. After they have cleared the waters from the high ground, the leader, Shaddah Da Family, appears in the sky and descends from what appears to be a tree, stretching as far as the eye can see to the heavens.
And they told the thing of Wa, well, that goes into our Haitian area of doctrine where you have Shango, Batalao, you see what I'm saying? And these deities, again, have different names because if I was to take, listen, one brother who would say a Hebrew brother and lay him down in a field and say, look up in the sky. And then say I was to take another brother who is a Mesopotamian brother as they lay down next to him and look up in the sky. And I take another brother who is a, let's say, Haitian brother, I say look up in the sky. Native American Indian brother, I say look up in the sky. If one of our crafts was to show up, the Hebrew brother would jump up and say, Elohim, Elohim. The Haitian brother would jump up and say, Orisha, Orisha. The fucking Native American brother would jump up and say, Katina, Katina. And the Mesopotamian brother would jump up and say, Amaraki, Amaraki. But they all be pointing at the same thing. So what you have is a situation where, according to geographical location, our family has been split up and put in what they call the four corners of the earth. I don't care what you say. They would say that we are minorities. What now? And what does that make them? Like if you say I'm a minority, the root word is minor. Like you're an adult, I'm a minor. I can't govern myself. You gotta govern me. And up and above that, what does that make them? The majority. What now? Which root word is major, meaning I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you, and you don't call no shots here. Well, and they show it on a piano. Wanna know why? Because the black keys in number are lesser than the white keys, which makes the white keys the overall majority and the black keys the minority. Now, but it's the other way around. If you give back what they've done to us by saying, this one is Puerto Rican, this one is Colombian, this one is Jamaican, this one Native American Indian, and you black. If you give that back to them, you'll start to figure black hair. But no, you want to know how that happened? A long time ago, we walked across the Bering Strait, which is up there in Alaska. And the continental drift had yet to occur. And some of us got tired and said, me and my wife want to stay here. And they waved at the rest of the family as everybody kept bouncing, right? Those people stopped right there and became Eskimos. Watch now. The rest of them came, they walked and came into the state of California. And they said, me and my wife, we going to stay right here. And they waved at the rest of the family as the rest of them kept on going. Those people became Native American Indians. And how? Because we took on Oriental wives, Nubians, and Oriental wives, women, what now, made it in. And if you look at an Eskimo, and you look at a Native American Indian, and you look at a Mexican, you're looking at the characteristics of black people having been with Chinese or Japanese women. You see? That straight, long black hair, them high cheekbones and them funny cheek eyes. You see what I mean? Now, but again, if you were to take all of them out their customary dress, the confusion would stop. Because you would see the same characteristics that in a Eskimo, that you will see in the Native American Indian, that you will see in a Mexican here today. Now, the word Mexican came about by virtue of the fact in Mexico, there are these statues called the Olmec statues. When you look at the statues, Mike, we looking at us. You know what I'm saying? You looking at us. Can't nobody say that some people weren't black folks by the characteristics of what the faces of these statues got. And they huge, though, but they ain't got no planes or nothing like that to put that.
They can't even give
wanted to control, they call the penal system of the United States of America, which they call controlled environment. If you look at these environments, they're made up of two predominant materials. What are they? Concrete, right? And steel, right? If I got this boombox, and I got 12 Duracell, right? In my boombox, and I take my boombox and lay it down on the what? Concrete. What's going to happen to the battery? Right, so you know that it's a proven scientific fact that concrete drains what? Energy, right? Now, you ever go in a chow hall and when you locked up, the motherfucking tables are made of steel, right? Couldn't that motherfucker be made? Oh, no, wait, I'm telling you straight up. Couldn't the goddamn table be made of wood? And what do you think would be the most effective weapon? One made of steel or one made of wood? So if they're so security conscious, why are they making the bunk beds out of steel? Rush now. And shouldn't that have been a bunk bed made of wood? And why are they doing it? I'll tell you why. Because let me tell you something. On everything I love, bro, you ever put a CD player in the car? They got a wire that you have to attach to something in order for it to play. It's called the ground wire. What do you attach it to? Steel. Any steel out there, you attach that shit and it grounds the thing out so that it then plays. So what that tells you is that in a certain type of way, they're setting out to ground us what? Out. They don't want you to float your ass away in your mind or in your heart or in your spirit, because then you would be ready, free, right? In a real way. Because are you really locked up becomes the question. If I can lay on my butt and go anywhere I want, just how locked up am I? My physical body might be locked up, but damn it, you can't stop me from thinking about whatever the fuck I want to.
You know, thing about the scope of weed, shit, everything like, boom, you got all these motherfucking inmates in the motherfucking prison jail, whatever, and you got these parachute guards. Why the fuck can't we just take over this shit?
Ain't that something? Like, okay, that's like, can you dig it? Yo, you think that movie called The War Beat? Yo, he said, we outnumber the police 10 to 1. Can you dig it? Then what he's saying is the truth. Now, I'm going to tell you. You got one cop on the whole damn tip. But you got a bunch of niggas in there, right? And you saying, how is it that this one motherfucking skinny-ass, punk-ass got us all shook like a motherfucker to the point that we say, fuck you, grab him up by his motherfucking neck and you ain't getting it and lock his ass up. Tell him he only got 10 minutes on the phone. I'll tell you how and why. Because when you are up high, you have such a great advantage. Because it gives you a greater vantage point, and you're looking down from up high, right? All of us in the penitentiary are on the yard. Where the police at? Up in the towers, right? Because it gives them an advantage because they can see everything. You can't see the forest for the trees if you're in the middle of the damn forest. You got to be above the forest to see all that shit, right? Now, so if I'm up high, what that tell you? In height, there is what? Strength. Because you can see more stuff. And if I got a gun up there, and you on the yard, you got a gun down there, I'm going to tear your ass up, nigga. You try to shoot up here if you want to. You understand? So they put the police up high, but on the 10, ain't but one motherfucker sitting at the damn desk.
Hello. I'm up there in the tower.
You don't? Why they got down here? But
yeah.
They just,
They on the yard with you.
They on the yard with you. I think what
like them hot mix prison, you got child.
Well, I'm going to tell you like this. We done got beat up by them, stomped down by them. Like, because why? Because white folks are natural born killers. They waiting for us to rise up talking about we going to start a revolution here in America so they can wipe our asses out.
They got everything.
Yeah, well, nigga, you got it. 38, that motherfucker got MC
never seen it, Chief.
Y'all seen The Secret? Come on, I don't want to hear. You niggas seen The Secret, didn't you?
No, Chief.
You know what I'm saying? The law of attraction is what they're saying. That the law of attraction is the most powerful law in existence. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I want all our people out there to get that movie if you can. It's not hard. Go on YouTube. The motherfuckers on there. And what you will see is them talking some real good metaphysical, you know, like, oh, shit. And the motherfuckers can't help but say, yeah, that just sound cool. But, man, it sounds cool right up until you start to pick it apart. And these is white folks, and I want y'all to pay attention to these people's hand movements while they're talking. They're talking about mass hypnosis, where they're hypnotizing the motherfucker right there off your TV, right into your living room. And you got to know, if that ain't the case, why the motherfuckers moving their hands like that? What the fuck are they doing right there? Now, straight up, well, nigga, white boy, you can stand there and just talk without doing all that shit? You see what I'm saying? You thinking that them motherfuckers can't wiggle their fingers and do what they want and have a bunch of motherfuckers understand. Oh, you don't believe this. Man, I'm telling you, I've seen a motherfucker hypnotize.
Only if you believe he carpet.
Nah, man, the motherfuckers, you ever see a motherfucker with a thing on the screen that's waving it back?
Yeah, I don't believe that shit.
I done seen motherfuckers when they sleeping. That bitch was hypnotized. The dude said, bark like a dog in the big bed.
Put together.
Put together? Well, let's explain it down. Let anybody, including you and Musa, let us figure out how could a handful of white folks called the Dead go into our land with all those black folks over there right now and just take everything that fucking belongs to us. And right now, Africa ain't ran by black folks. It's ran by white folks. A handful of it, they might be 200 white folks against 50,000 black folks. How are you doing it? Everybody get real quiet on that one. Well, don't you see? There's something moving here. Because like you say, all them numbers, right? We got numbers, man. And you know, like I know, we the strongest people on the planet. They don't run faster than us. They don't jump higher than us. And they can't whip on us anytime. Man, we tear in the pit. Let me tell you something. California and Georgia is the only place that I've ever seen white folks try to force up.
Georgia, California?
Yes.
Most prisons in the United States.
Yeah, that's something, though. But let me tell you why the brothers is about to. That's why the brothers is like, fuck it. You know, I ain't fucking with it. But you gonna call the police. So I know the reason I fuck your ass up. What you gonna do? 911 my ass. And next thing you know, I'm locked up all over again. I'm right back in my home, away from home. You know, on the phone for 10. How much can you say in 10 minutes, motherfucker, to your girl? You remember that shit. All you got to do is go there one time, and you ain't trying to go, what? No more. Especially if you're black. Because you know, like I know, man, your girl gets to get an hour in the living room. You can't even rub your own wife's titty without the motherfucker telling you what to do. And let me tell you, that's a sad feeling. You be, man, I wanted to cut my thing off because it just cause I ain't had no woman here, ain't nothing but some man. And yo, let me tell you something. I used to cry looking at them books, them paper holes. But I'm saying that it's natural for a man to want to see a woman. And I prayed, and the Most High told me, he said, stop crying, child. Because we know the abnormality of this environment. So, if you need to do your masturbation thing, don't feel like you violating me. You got to do something. And motherfucker, you had certain Muslims in there that were so spooked out. Because I'm a Muslim, and I want to see a woman, brother slide me down one of them books or them paper holes, and you want to say, I'm not Muslim because I'm following behind my natural nature.
Yes, Chief.
I bet you shot at your double, man? You ain't shoot your double? Shit, you mad, please.
Squeeze.
Wait, the street is ba-ba-ba. What? Who? Now let's tell the truth and shame the devil. We're talking about things, listen, that needs to be talked about a long time, what?
Ago.
And that motherfuckers is true, here's the attribute. Shame. Did you know that shame is not a Nubian attribute? We're not supposed to be ashamed of nothing. Wanna know why? When you spell ashamed, what is the first three letters in that? A-S-H. That spells what? Like in ask our command. See? Shame was stimulated by those very same things that approached Hitler in the year 1945, which is why he wanted to make an all-white, blonde-haired, and blue-eyed face that he said was superhuman, right up until Jesse Owens ran, blew his mighty whitey out the water. You see? Yeah, because they come from the Aldebaran star constellation. Motherfuckers don't know nothing about this. Because everybody thinking this war is being fought over good and evil. Guess what, Mike? Being fought over fertility. That's what's being fought over. To keep going. If some wife is having more babies than them, check this out. You remember when the women used to have they were suffering from a disease called no acetone? And then out of nowhere, baby got back. We said, damn, there must be something in the water. It wasn't. What was happening through a thing called Easter, our fertility was being transferred over to them. And the next thing you know, yeah? Hold on one second. He told me, just told me. Now listen, and all I'm telling y'all is that it's real. That's the answer. It's only an alchemist can look down at the equation of Easter and know that that was an alchemical equation. It wasn't until I'm the first one amongst us all to define that equation in its totality. Do you remember, Musa, what I said about Easter?
Yes.
What did I say? Click that thing. There you go. What did I say?
That it was alchemical equation in reverse.
I was talking about Easter. I said only an alchemist would be able to see the Easter equation and know that it was out. I'm explaining in a minute. Musa, you remember what I said about Easter?
Yes, it was alchemical equation in reverse. It was reverse the fertility of
You're an alchemist now, nigga. I don't want to hear it. Break it down.
basically Easter was what they did was they gathered a bunch of Nubians together and put some eggs, colored the eggs and put them all out in the fields just to have Nubians out there to reverse the fertility, use that as to transfer the fertility.
I love you, Musa.
Yeah.
You did great. Show that the understanding is in place, but the overstanding still needs to be developed. Now, let me explain. You have to get it the way you can speak it, in a way by which our people can comprehend. Okay, brothers and sisters out there in the listening audience, listen to how it has to be spoken. Meaning, you have to speak it out
Chief.
Okay, now, the second rule is anything that stands in representation of a thing is indeed a thing. Remember me telling y'all that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now, the third thing is the smallest things carry the most what? Power. Those are the three cornerstones to the great science. I'll say it again. That which is not must be considered base. about drive. What you want more? Right here. I'm not getting angry. This soda.
Hey,
Soda.
you get a load of juice.
Well, give me some. Let's do it. This motherfucker's hot. Yeah. Now.
Hey, no more of the shit.
All right, I'm going to penetrate some more. I ain't finished, baby. No one talking about shit. Nigga, that's what he said.
That nigga that went to a whole nother level.
And this nigga, his attention span done diminished. Post thing will break on. Everybody be thinking I'm getting off a subject matter, well, guess what? I'm not. Our people want instant gratification. If you can't give it to them quick, shut the fuck up. Well, it don't work like that. That's how and why they've been able to win thus far. Because alchemy is not something you get wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It takes time to digest this shit. And every opportunity I get, I'm going to pull you all into alchemical mind. Because until you get this alchemy, you ain't going to be nothing but a Negro with a concept of what it is to be a God. All them brothers and sisters walk around talking about the big gods and goddesses. No, use a Negro. A being who still needs to grow, who is given a concept of what it is to be a God by a God who is my father. And many of you to this day have still yet to conceptualize immaculately. Meaning to put it into motion. You can talk about, man, let me tell you something. Talk is cheap and bullshit walks the marathon. And so, sooner or later, you're going to have to get up and do something that shows you a God. You can't just be running your mouth talking about you're a God and a goddess, because all the motherfuckers got to do is say, okay, prove it. Let me see you make the wind blow. And you fucked up right there. Okay, you God of goddess, let me see you create a ant. You fucked off right there. Let me see you do something that God what? Will do. You feel me? Yeah. And if you think for 1 minute I'm going to let my people be made to look like fools, I mean, not stupid, but super stupid, triple dumb, without doing something, anything to help you, all of y'all are more stupid than I thought, because you know damn well I'm not going to sit here and know this shit, be one of us, and not say something to you, to pull you up by the bootstrap. And what you should be saying is, thank God you got somebody that's willing to do this. Because our people have fallen far away from where the fuck they need to be. Why? Because if you don't give it to me quick, I don't want it. Set that shit. Attention span has diminished down to the attention span of a fly. But you can't go from kindergarten to college in a heartbeat. I'm doing pretty good to get you from kindergarten to college, you know, in a couple of seconds or something. You feel me? A couple of minutes, in a couple of hours, you know, nigga, you done did something, you done grow. It took you 12 years. First grade all the way to 12th grade. And yeah, don't think that what we teaching ain't dumbfounding and wise. That in itself is a miracle. Because how is it a motherfucker with a GED able to put out this level of information? Don't you see that fulfillment of prophecy? That the days of me will be able to dumbfound the wise? Because you got motherfuckers from Princeton, Harvard, and Yale talking shit. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. And then they go research what I'm saying and be like, oh shit, the nigga do know what he's talking about. Then they want to ask questions like, yo, how you get that information? You see? Because the meek shall dumbfound the wise. And I can't help but say this in a real way. That, yo, Bob, here today, ever since 1970 and pop star teacher, you got Nubians all around the world who saying things out their mouths which is far greater in was spelled H-U, which meant who, which meant he who is the creative force. That's who created God. He who is the creative force. But you're saying it in English, but you also saying it in the ancient language. I'm not saying it W-H-O. I'm saying it H-U. And I'm removing the question mark, and I'm putting the period and making the statement, because that's where you find your answer. You say, instead of saying, who created God, you say, who created God? And you're all wise, right, and exact, because the word who in the ancient language spelled H-U, don't believe me, check it out, means he who is the creative force. So I'm saying, he who is the creative force created God. That's your answer. Now, again, because our people's attention span are diminishing. Why? If you don't give it that nigga, he don't want it. Motherfucker wants instant gratification. Because I'm going to tell you why that's happening to our nation. Because did you know that when you reduce water to its purest form, it will not conduct electricity? That's a scientific fact. And the human body is three-fourths what? Water. And have you ever heard the sound in your ear like this? And don't nobody else know what the fuck is. Now, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you what it was. The FCC, along with the United States government, has found a way to target Nubian people and to reduce the water in your body down to its purest form. Meaning, when this starts to happen, you'll start to find yourself waking up tired. You done slept 8 hours. You wake up and you feeling like you ain't had no sleep. Because they're reducing the water in your body down to its pure form through a thing called ultrasound. That these motherfuckers, I don't know if any of y'all ever had a wife who was pregnant and went to take the ultrasound, right? They tell her to drink a lot of water, not to eat nothing, and then they rub this cream on the sister's belly, the fucking butt. And then what they do? They run the thing, they can't eat nothing all night, but she drinking water. She go early next morning to the hospital. They run the cream across her belly, and then they take the thing and run it across her belly, and the ultrasound waves will go through the water in her belly and bounce back and forth, and then give you a picture to where you can see if the baby is a boy or girl. I knew that. What's up, baby? Oh, yeah, hold on one second. Okay, we can talk right here. I'm going up here to meet you. Now, what I'm saying is, that's a scientific fact. I don't care what nobody says. Now, you hear this shit in your ear, and do you really think that these motherfuckers, after you hear this shit, you can run to the phone and call FCC, motherfucker, I heard this real shit in my ear, and they fucking you up by that, they gonna tell you? Hell no. They're reducing the water down to its pure form in your body, which makes your attention span diminish. And once it diminishes, that's why you don't see black folks reading books no more. You don't see black folks doing shit, but running their motherfucking mouths, talking loud, saying nothing. Now, that's the end of part 1 of the show, you guys. I'll be back in a little while. We'll do part 2. Shaddah Da Family. Shaddah Da.
Shaddah Da, thank you, Chief.
Shaddah Da, Chief.
Thank you.